Dumpty dum dum, it is Friday. The finest of all the weekdays, wouldn't you say? I have Microsoft Edge installed on my computer today. Thanks, Dave. See how that goes. Holy buckets. Installed Zen as well. Here I am in Chrome Canary, though, for now. I've been using for the last couple of weeks. Because. Ooh, one of the things I was going to do is check that blue. My goal for the reset was to pick a blue that's obviously not. I don't need that. That's obviously not the default blue. So you just know by looking at it. It's called branding. Cleaning up this thing a little bit. And then. Oh, happy Friday, Andrew. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully this will be a little bit more entertaining. The early ones of this reset were rough as we were looking at really old starters and being like, oh, I just don't know what to care about in here anymore. Where's the rendering tab? How do you get to that thing? Do you have to be in not the console and then it comes up? Yeah, rendering. Okay. I just wanted the dark mode is okay. Ooh, that blue totally works. What's up, Emmett? We did make it to Friday. Hell yeah. Light and dark. I picked a blue for my link so you can tell it's my starter because it's a fancy OK LCH blue that works in both themes. So I've decided to put the color scheme light dark in there. So I think that's a good default. I think most websites should probably have that. I don't know if it's dangerous for a starter to be like, okay, we're doing this. Both themes are supported. You're ready now. But without that, like a lot of these list items and stuff don't look as good when you swap modes. So I feel like it's good. It should be in a starter, I think. So we're doing it, gosh darn it. I cleaned up some of these files just a little bit, but I thought now it's fun to look at some of the more modern ones and pluck off some of the juiciest things from other people's starters with credit, of course. Our next tab is this post from Mank and about layers, and it says your CSS reset should be layered. Layers recently reached the compatibility baseline. Yes. Wrap everything in your CSS with a layer rule. You can name it anything or leave it unnamed. If your reset comes from an external file, then import it like that into a layer. I almost never use import in CSS. You know, like it just had a bad performance profile in the early years. You know that it doesn't bundle generally, so it's like the browser loads the CSS style sheet, then makes another HTTP request for that style sheet. Not to mention it's a render blocking resource to begin with, so it's waiting around for another network request and stuff. It's not like the worst thing in the world, but I just never do it, so I don't really care. I do find it notable that you can layer an import like that. That's pretty neat, but you can't with a link tag. And I always kind of thought, well, link tags are better than import anyway, but why can't you layer from the link tag level? That way, if you like link up Bootstrap from a CDN or whatever, you could layer it there, and like lowering the specificity of like the entire Bootstrap seems like a great use case, but I don't think that ever shipped as far as I know. But why? When you place any styles inside a layer, they automatically have lower priority compared to all other unlayered styles. That to me is cool. Think of it as an unimportant block. I like that line. You might already be using the where pseudoclass to create weak zero specificity selector. So the point there is like, see, we're using these H1 and H2s and stuff. We could rock a where. Gosh, can I freaking type today? Around that. And then they went from the specificity of having one tag selector, which I always think of as like 0, 0, 1, I guess, like kind of the weakest level of specificity, to nothing. They just have like none specificity. I don't know if that makes sense, but to me, that's like they're already so low. You can't really even write a selector that's any less specific than that. So it just seemed like extra boilerplatey not that useful to me. And we don't have any selector in here stronger than, do we? Oh, there's hidden. So we could lower that, but we're intentionally being super hardcore about hidden. So I don't want to lower the specificity of the hidden. That wouldn't make sense to me. Target has class level specificity. Nah, I just don't care. And screen reader only is just a utility class that I want in here. We should credit that though. Inclusively hidden is the like Scott O'Hara link. Is it in here? There it is. I think that's as good as you can do with inclusively hidden so far. All right, let's see what Andrew has to say here. Where button dot reset is a good use case to explicitly reset a button. So you have a button element and you use the reset class on it, but it has no specificity because of the where. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a, I don't know, because you're saying like, I don't know, if in the HTML, we, at the very top of this somewhere, we rock a button tag and there's a button, it's going to look like a button, which I don't care to reset. Come on, buddy. Compiler's a little slow to go today. So, and then if you put a class of reset on it, you could essentially just get it down to looking like a link or looking like nothing. And then you wouldn't have to fight it, right? You wouldn't have to, I kind of like that because then you'd be like, well, but the reset adds specificity and then you have to worry about the specificity. But if you wrap it in where, you wouldn't have to. So it would pull off the border, it would pull off the margin and padding, it would probably pull in the font. What would that look like? Do we want to do anything for buttons? This is probably about all we would do. So we'd go where, you're saying button, not class of button, button.reset. Do I like the word reset? Kinda. Then you'd say border 0, padding 0. Do buttons have any margin? We'd have to look. I don't want to put things that aren't needed there. And like font inherit, perhaps. Then if it had that class on it, it would kick it back down to, ooh, it's still got a background, so we'd have to pull that. Let's see, does the margin matter? No. Background, do you just say none usually, or do you rock transparent? I kind of like none. Yeah, and there's no cursor or anything. So that, you know, I don't know. It's almost like a little dangerous. Funny how it's like hard to select the text, whereas in here you can select in between. You can't do that in a button. Isn't that weird? It's a weird little side effect. So you'd never use reset alone, probably, right? You'd say reset and then like, I don't know, fancy big style. But fancy big style wouldn't need to do the resetting because resetting has already been done. So if you like, I don't know. That's the thing though, is my fancy big style would have a background and a border and a padding and all that stuff. So I'm kind of like getting the reset by default. So I think I get where you're coming from, but it's just not how my brain works. But I think that's kind of a cool use case for where, so you don't have to fight the specificity with your own class. Cool. We were talking about layering though. So saying, you know, you could use where to rip down the specificity. Maybe here, because that's kind of a lot. I could see pulling down the specificity here in case you wanted to override any particular part of this. You wouldn't want to fight all that class action going in there. So we'll rip the specificity off there. That's kind of cool. Although this is saying like you don't have to bother doing this if it's layered. So it's kind of funny. I guess we should keep reading perhaps. But where does not provide a guarantee. You might still run into cascade conflicts when other 0 specificity selectors from outside your reset. Whereas if you use a layer, it's a clear signal that the browser to these styles be deprioritized. Apart from that, there's one simple and important reason to use your reset. You'll need to do it anyway if you ever want to use layers anywhere else. But with this starter, it's like, it's just a starter. You could, if you want to layer it, layer it. If you don't want to layer it, don't layer it. It's a little tempting to do it though. So what we'd probably do is go like at layer reset. That's the thing. Is like, you don't have to name it, but naming it helps other people use it, because then in their style sheets, let's see, I want prettier to run on this and kick it all in. Do it. Ooh, it's mad about something. Cannot read properties. Reading start. Start. Why are you all mad about that? Is that what you think is a problem? That line right there? No, it's because I forgot to put an extra curly down here. Now prettier will run. Or are you already mad at me, so you're not going to run? We really need to fix this issue. It's like I have prettier and it looks like it's running. Oh, it's not running because nothing changed now. If I change a line, will it run? This is confusing. It's definitely a bug with the compiler that's like, a build isn't running even though I'm changing code and saving it. A build's like, I don't consider that a change. It seems like a bug. Now it ran perfectly fine by refreshing. It seems like not. It shouldn't be the client, shouldn't have that much say whether a build runs or not. That's a good lead though. It was like there's a prettier bug, and then from then on, it doesn't run as expected. So now I can actually open a ticket properly. When we name it, now we've named it though. And like I said, I don't really care to have this be like something that anybody npm installs, but I am like making a decision here. Like anybody could change this, but does it make more sense to be like Chris reset or whatever, the CC reset? Because, then it's not such a generic word. Probably not. I could see layering it, and then we don't need where here anymore, because this is all essentially kind of like zeroed out specificity wise. So I don't know. There's something like modern about it that makes me want to keep it in here in this reset. That's like almost like educational. Like, yeah, it's it's all layered, rock and roll. And this is kind of a good point. Like if you're going to use layers elsewhere, if you're going to use layers elsewhere in your project, then this wasn't layered, then all of a sudden these starter cells become more powerful than you want them to be, which is not good. So I think layering it is good. So I think we should credit that. Having it be the credit being the first line of the entire style sheet is a little funny, so I'll have to figure out a good way to like do annotations in this style sheet. But I like that quote. I'll put the quote in there for now. Like the quote, but otherwise we're done with this. So looking at modernized ones, remember we clicked around and find, if you Google for Bootstrap's reboot, you get like the version 4, but Bootstrap's on version 5 now. So we dug around on GitHub, and this is Bootstrap version 5's reboot reset. So this is, I don't know, relatively new. When's the last commit to this file? A year ago, but it's in reset land or CSS starter land. A year ago is pretty recent compared to what we're looking at. So they use the box sizing like every reset in the world. Ooh, is this Sass? So it has funky Sass stuff in it. I guess they're allowed to do that. Smooth scrolling we kind of put on the maybe list, right? Or did I remove it from the maybe list? No, I left it in there. I don't super know how I feel about it. One of my major concerns was alleviated, that Command F as you're going down through the file, do not smooth scroll. And I know people hate that. So apparently browsers fixed that, and that makes me want to do it more. And it's educational because of the prefers reduced motion thing. I think we're going to do it. We're going to put it in there. God dang it. So many things. I wonder if I should have a principle of how long it is. Like, Andy's reset that we looked at yesterday was like kind of like, ooh, this is somebody else's. The first link in Kagi is somebody else's gist of Andy's reset. Sorry, Andy. That sucks. Does that mean it's Bing? Is Kagi Bing or Google? I can't remember. It's probably not Google because I think their marketing is like, we're not like Google. It's 76 lines long, and ours is already 163 lines long. So I think that's kind of a consideration here is like, I don't want it to be 500 lines long. But it's all good stuff so far. And maybe we can clean it up. Like maybe we can turn off Prettier's crap like this. I don't want to see 6 lines of H1 tags. Like it should just leave that alone. It won't, but it should. But I could probably do like one last Prettier and then go disable the block. I could just, you know. Yeah. I understand. Like if this was actually for client work, smaller and less opinions. I don't want it to be unopinionated though. Like if there's, I don't know, that would be a different project is to have something that's like, this just fixes bugs or it just helps with accessibility or it's just like things that our studio does, but could work on any project. It's like a little bit of different scope. This is like Chris's favorite stuff. Like, do I generally like it for most stuff? Look, they're rocking the WebKit text adjust, but they're doing it old school style instead of there's a different keyword that's used. John's wondering, would it keep them in line if they were comma separated in a where? Oh, that would be like a gross abuse of where. Like if we put where H1, H2, H3 here, would Prettier leave them alone? Like I almost don't care with me. It's interesting to know if it leaves them alone. I bet it does. Yeah. But if we take the where off, then it forces them all onto one line. Like I don't want to make a decision about the code based on what Prettier does. Ooh, why did it leave it alone that time? Is it because there's only 3 of them? Save. Or is it because Prettier's just not running because we were having trouble with that? Refresh page. Save to run Prettier. And it's leaving them alone now. What on earth? What if I force a format? No, it pushes them down. Whatever. Yeah, I like the idea of turning up. We'll say, ooh, it is, it's disabled. That's why I wasn't running. Why is it up here then? Shouldn't it be down here in disabled blocks? That's a bug. Once it's disabled, it should move away. I'm just taking a screenshot there so I can log it as a bug. That's life. I swear to God, this isn't the help me find bugs in CodePen show, but it also is. Oh, our HRs are awesome, so that's cool. This is a little hard to look at just because it's specifically in Sass syntax, so I'm kind of just skimming it for things that look interesting. That's funny. That just shows up so much. I absolutely don't care what ABBRs look like. I almost don't even think we should use them because the title attribute is so bad and useless. And that's kind of the point. Like, what's an ABBR matter if the title attribute doesn't matter? Small. Do we do anything cool for marks? We probably should, as I think marks are cool. Mark is like, it's not emphasis, but it's kind of emphasis. What is them? Now I've confused myself. If we wrap this in a mark, it's just going to go yellow, right? Yeah, I don't mind the default styling for yellow, but I already messed with the blue, so it makes me want to mess with the yellow. And I don't like how it touches it exactly. It almost feels like we should have like a little padding, just like 1 pixels of padding on the outside of a mark. But I don't use marks enough. We'll gotta put it on the maybe list. Are we gonna do anything special with mark? Fancy yellow question mark? Tiny padding question mark? I don't know. I shared one on Blue Sky that I found an old pen where I was messing with mark. Oh, look, it's my first one. Where when you when you scroll down, it uses scroll-driven animations to like highlight the thing that you marked, which to me is like very much in the spirit of the mark element. You're like trying to draw attention to it like a highlighter. I don't think there's any way I would put that in a style sheet though, or a starter style sheet like this. This we're already doing. We already handled links to my satisfaction. Links that don't have an href or a class. I don't care. Oh, this is kind of interesting where we did some special stuff for pre, but we didn't do anything for code. It's a little bit tempting to like use a nicer, like a potentially nicer font family for any of the monospacey stuff, especially because we're using system UI up here. Isn't there like a code version of system UI? System UI font family variations or something. I think the intention with system UI, maybe I just need to look up system UI, is that it was just one of other keywords that meant stuff like that. I don't know how well they're supported though. Maybe Can I Use will point us to the other ones. System UI. Is there like system code or something? Resources. Yeah, there they are. UI monospace. Like maybe? My guess is that it's not supported, but it almost has me thinking that like we could set it on those. So on those you'd go font family UI mono space. And does it change? Let's see. Ooh, it maybe did. Oh, it's bad though. So you'd have to go comma monospace because it still needs to fall back to something that's not a disaster. But it almost gives us an opportunity to use the cool San Francisco one. Use San Francisco code in CSS. Like system UI renders as San Francisco, right? But there's a way to do it. Actually, we do it on CodePen. So I'll just steal it from us. Like this little create up here is set in monospace, and I think our font stack for it will have the cool San Francisco way. Yeah, SF mono regular. SF mono regular. Sure, I'm taking it. So we'll try to use the new fancy one. If not, we'll use SF mono regular, which is probably a little bit nicer than monospace and then monospace. Is that a little too Mac centric for a starter, or are we cool with it? I don't know. I'm kind of a Mac guy, so maybe we'll roll with that. Cool. Code wrap break. Is it because lines of code can be otherwise not breaky? I don't know. Is code inherently more subject to breaking containers? I don't think so. It is a little tempting. We have nothing about word breaking though in here, right? We don't have any break anything at all. A bit like something for like word break, but the whole it's eternally confusing to me to use which of the like 6 properties is like the chillest and safest to use for word breaking. The idea being though, like we could give ourselves a problem right away. It won't like this pre-tag. Oh my god, we turned prettier off, so it'll leave it alone for a minute. But if we put a really long URL in here in the pre-tag and it had even more crap on it. Actually, I shouldn't have used semicolons. It may break on the semicolons. No, it's just hiding the overflow. Oh no, it's just white text that's busting out. we want it to break in that circumstance, but I don't think we want to limit it to pre-tags. I think we want it to break anywhere. That would be this problem. Word break. Is that the chill one? Break all we don't want. Keep all and break word. If we put that on HTML, does it immediately solve this problem? I'm going to hope it does. Yeah, it does. But it breaks. Does it break anywhere that we don't like? No, I think it'll be okay. We can look up and down the document. Like, what about that? No, Donick has a space after it. So it's cool. It's not like one big word. Donicolumtocopter. That's one of the problems with lorem ipsum is I'm looking for words that are breaking at spots that are not good. Where if you put break all, I think we could see this. It'll just break absolutely anywhere, right? And then words typography is rough business. Like look at how it broke the word text. That's like obviously unacceptable. But break word is like better. I think that's a decent setting overall, and it fixes lots of things. So we're going to keep it. Sweet. So a lot of styling just for keyboard elements. Don't hate it. Figure and fig caption is on the to-do list. I really want to do that. Remember, didn't we stream about this? Probably the thing where it wraps the fig caption in the right place. Totally going to do that. We have a very important comment here. Is CodePen still relevant in 2025? I think it's the most relevant thing possible. So yes, and going to be increasingly more so over time. Vertical alignment of images. Tables is on our to-do list. We already have the collapse in there. Caption side bottom though. What is that not the default? I'm pretty sure table captions are on the bottom anyway. I just used one recently. That's funny that that's in a reset. Is there some browser where it's not in there? Prevent double borders. Heck yeah, that's what that line does. But I don't know what caption side does. Maybe we ought to put it in the more research section though, just in case. Table headers have font weight. I think it already does. I know table headers are is that in the table in the to-dos? I do always hate that I'll put it indented. Table headers should be left aligned. I hate how it centers TH elements. So I do kind of like that they're doing that, but they're inheriting for some reason. Matches TD alignment by inheriting text align. I guess inherit is smart because then it's like, it's not forcing left alignment. It's forcing whatever text is normally. So maybe we should put that there. Not left align, should inherit. Fair enough. Okay. Other table stuff, we'll get to tables when we get there. We'll get to figures and fig captions as well. Buttons we've already dealt with, or inheriting font stuff we've already dealt with. I decided I don't want to mess with cursors normally. It feels like everybody's got their own little opinion on it. Ooh, we have to reset. Oh no, the inheritance of word wrap for select menus. I was just happy with our word wrap choice. Or word wrap. We were dealing with word break. So it is a different issue. From 8 years ago. It's a CodePen, of course, proving its relevance as a platform. Hello. Ooh, it's kind of a nice looking table. I guess it's Bootstrap, so Bootstrap just looks nice sometimes. I don't know enough about this, and it's old enough, and I've never heard of it, so I'm gonna not worry about it. Look at that selector. A thing that has an attribute of list that's not of type date and not of type any of the date time things, then you'd hide them? Or does it have it has a pseudo class at the end of it? No, I am absolutely not going there. That is wild. We're going to deal with focus within. We have field sets on our list. Everybody's got a little opinion about it. I just want to make ours just look decently nice. I'm less worried about like normalizing it across everything. I ideally don't want to touch it at all. I don't know about any of this. It's starting to get too in the weeds. WebKit color swatch wrapper padding 0. Like I get why Bootstrap needs to deal with it, but that's too in the weeds for my starter, I think. Correct display. They agree with me on that. You got to important that hidden because it's such a strong thing. So we made it through that list and we stole some stuff. So I feel good about that. We can move on a little bit. Let's look at Ellie's. Ellie Lowell from, I don't know, a couple of years ago, maybe last active yesterday on GitHub, right? Ooh, 2022. Okay. So, it's not super new, definitely not super old either. Rocking a very complicated calc thing. Calculate M based on line height, where you add a rem to an M to a rem. I have no idea what's going on there. Is that different somehow than 0.5 rem plus 1 M? And why combine rems and M's? It's kind of a clever idea, I guess, so that if a nested child has a different, like the root size and the not root size can be different. So I don't know. I'm not that worried about our line height. See, that seems like a very like font specific choice. Rocking the wares, I see, because it's not layered. We rock the layer, so we're just doing it with the layers. Font size, meter, and progress. Oh, it's all elements except those ones. You remove the border and the background origin to border box. Set sensible defaults for backgrounds. In border repeat, no repeat. But it's like as soon as you use background, the shorthand property on it, background repeat will get set back to repeat if you eliminate it. I don't know, I'm not that into it. Forcing the height of the HTML element all the way top of the page. It is already, the body is not, but the HTML is already this. And this is that classic one where we hemmed and hawed about whether we want to do it, where you rotate the phone and the font gets bigger. I decided not to care as much. We did it. We did it with this HTML. Well, there's focus within though. That's kind of an interesting twist. We did not put focus within, did we? We put root. So Ellie's twist is that focus within is on here. So it only smooth scrolls when something inside is focused. When would it do it when something's not focused? Like, what's the thinking there? Maybe the idea was the find on page thing. Remember, what's a word that we'll find down here? List item. So we go find list item, and it shot this down, right? Didn't it? List item. It's not smooth scrolling this, even though we have the smooth scrolling on there. It's because there is nothing focused. I guess I like the thinking of it. It's a little bit, I almost want to put a star, like, do we really want this? But I mean, I like the thinking of it, I guess. Cool. Text rendering optimize speed. Certainly like the sound of it. I've like heard of it, but I don't think I've ever actually used it. I haven't noticed any perceivable speed differences between the two modes, although there are certain cases where you might want to avoid this mode. There are actually significant, effectively fatal performance problems, such as 30-second long delays on mobile devices using optimized legibility for long pages. Apply it only if you know what the maximum text length will be. He's saying don't use it. And yet here it is. So that seems too dangerous. Or maybe did I misread that? Is it, if you say optimize legibility, that can be really slow, but optimize speed makes it not slow. So now it feels like we need to know what all the options are. Speed, legibility, or geometric precision. Have any of you used that? Optimized speed seems like a good one for, like why would I ever want to slow down the rendering of a page? But you'd think that's what auto would do. Auto makes educated guesses about when to optimize for speed. Yeah, that's what I want. I want the default. I want the browser to decide. Yeah, I'm going to skip that. That would actually have some things. Okay. Scroll bar gutter. Remove this when this bug is fixed. Let's check it. Crossing fingers for fixtitude. Is this linking to an actual issue? What am I even looking at? Marked as fixed. Good enough for me. Okay. Display blocking stuff. We've already dealt with our media elements pretty good. SVG is something we're going to probably do a dedicated little thing on dealing with. Change text area resize to vertical only and block only if the browser supports that. I guess I get the point there. I'm not sure I care that much though. If you want the user, you want to resize it to your liking, that's fine. We did mess with text areas because we put in the field sizing. So it does that, which is great. And I wouldn't want to change that. Although what was the problem? I wouldn't mind putting this to bed actually. Text area. We said that it had to have a min inline size because as soon as you don't, the field sizing of content makes it shrink horizontally. Look at that. That's stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. I don't like it. You know what it makes me want to do is set the inline size to 100% or 100 container units. No, we're not going to mess. We're not going to go there. I just want to do that. You know what it makes me want to do too is, why is now I have to turn back on prettier because it's freaking me out. Format. What are you doing? What are you doing left aligned? I don't like it. What I'm trying to do is make those labels maybe not inline by default. That is super opinionated. I just don't like the look of this. I know labels are inline by default, and so it seems like it probably should be an opt-in behavior, but like there's this old Luke Roblinski forms book. There's this old book of Luke's where this stuck in my mind so bad. There's like forms are like just like one straight line down the middle is how you want to do forms. That's how people like understand and fill them out better. Like don't get fancy with your like left aligned labels and right aligned inputs and stuff like this kind of thing. This river of weirdness here is not doing anybody any good. And it's always made me want to be like, you know what? Label, display block. And it pushes the dang inputs down a line, which is where they should be anyway, especially according to Luke, and that the inputs, this is tricky because input always selects input of type button or submit too, and it's the one that you don't want to do there. So you go, oh, it's almost like input not type equals submit. Like all of them except for you, and probably date pickers too, but I think they'll ignore it, should also have an inline size of 100%. So forms are just like that. That's how I like my forms. But then it makes the field sizing like it doesn't really matter. The field sizing only really matters then on the text area because you wouldn't want this to grow horizontally. Like, look, if I keep going here, it's going to break out of the contain. Oh, it's not. Did the field sizing doesn't matter when it's already 100%? You have it on there. Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter when we set inline size 100%. So if that's off, then it does matter. No? Oh, I turned it off. Turn it on, buddy. It just grows as wide as it needs to be. But as soon as we say 100%, I thought it would be willing to go over 100%. But I guess that's because if we set min, it probably would. Yeah, so now it's willing to get bigger. but I don't want it to get bigger. I think that's fine. If we're setting inline size, then we don't need it. We only need the field sizing on the text area. And we've dealt with our to-do. Ooh, I feel so much more gooder about this. Right? It's a good, nice default size. The focus is fine. The widths are fine. Maybe a little weird to see a time element so darn wide. I guess we could pick and choose a little bit, but I generally don't mind inputs that just are this. That is very me. That's what I like, darn it. So I'm going to stick with it, and that makes me feel better about forms generally overall. All right, what were we doing? We're still looking at Ellie's stuff. She says only resize in the block or vertical direction. I think if you really want to narrow up your text area for line breaking reasons or something, go for it. I don't really care that much. What does, I can kind of see the point where if you don't want to go wider than the layout though, like you don't want to do that. So maybe we should set a max where we set the inline size of 100%. We could also say max inline size is 100% at the same time. So now in that text area, you can go narrower, but not wider. That feels fair to me. I know I'm limiting what a user might want to do, but it's like, too bad. I don't want you to break the layout. That might be worse. God, crushing it on this layout. It's the best. I'm actually having more fun than I thought I would with this. It's also taking way longer than I thought. I feel like I should do some of this off camera and just explain it or something. But all right, no reduce motion. Ooh, on text areas twice. Oh yeah, so we just don't need it here. Right? Or we could have a comma separated selector that sets it on so we don't have to repeat the declaration twice. That's a little optimization we can mess with. Focus visible. Any element that has focus visible when you don't have preferred motion has a transition on the outline offset. Okay. But we're not really setting the outline offset. Do browsers automatically set an offline offset? Should we just steal it and see how it looks? It's kind of a lot of lines of code, but maybe that's okay. Oh, we are setting it right here. So if we tab through, ooh, look at that. It kind of rules, doesn't it? It feels janky in that like not hardware accelerated way where you can like see it stutter step a little too much. Maybe it's this cubic Bezier. Maybe we don't want that. Yeah, it feels smoother without it. But we could go ease in. Or tab. A little slow, maybe? I don't know. Now I'm just messing with it. Like, is it appropriate in a starter like this? It feels like it's almost like Ellie's signature look or something. What I don't hate is that there's a little offset around the thing that you're focused on. I mean, but it does cover, like if the word vi was really important here, it like covers up a little bit of the V just because of our offset vanity. I don't know. This is a cool idea, but I the alternative is to not do anything, and it just has a nice focus style, like the default browser focus style. Remember that? I swear there was an era in Chrome where you got a little white one and a little blue one, and it meant that it worked across all kinds of backgrounds and stuff really nicely. Now it's just back to a blue line. I wonder why. Anyway, the default browser, it's not a disaster, but yeah, like let's say the background of our page was exactly that blue color. Oh, I have my color picker open, so you can't really see it, but I'm stealing the blue from the outline focus line, and I'm saying, okay, the background of this web page is just that color exactly, and then I focus on it. Oh, it's smart enough. Look at it, changes to white instead. So it has some like internal heuristics, but it's a really thin line. So what if this was like dark gray? Can you see both the blue and the white? Yeah, you can. Okay, so I was wrong. You just couldn't see it when it's on white because the white is on the outside. But that's what Chrome does. It puts two colors on the focus, which I think is kind of clever. All right, we don't want that. I think default focus styles are kind of fine. Like that just is fine to me. It has a nice rounded edge on it. Maybe like an outline offset of like 1 pixel or something would be kind of neat. Maybe that's as far as I'd go, but the whole transition on it feels like that's Ellie's thing. She can have that. So while it's not active, focus visible. What's with the not active? What does that mean? Who cares if it's active and focused? Like if it's active is like when you've clicked and you're like holding down the click, essentially, right? Like while clicked. I don't know why that would matter. I think I'm just going to rock the focus visible thing. So focus visible, 1 pixel of outline, 2 pixels. Just so it doesn't touch. It's like a tiny little touch. I think that looks pretty good where it doesn't touch the G like that. I'd almost want to do it on the X direction and not the Y direction. That's a little too specific. I'll take it. That's pretty opinionated right there. But that's how we're rolling on this offset. All right, what else do you got, Ellie? A bunch of button stuff for tap highlight color. Make sure users can't select button text. Oh, screw that. I don't care if they can select button text. But the tap highlight color of transparent, so you tap it and it doesn't do the focus because it's going to do this focus instead or something. What does tap highlight color do? It strikes me as something that I don't want to do. Why would I publish that blog post myself like 2 days ago? Why would that be the top post? I absolutely did not write about tap highlight color in that blog post. That's creepy to me. Remove blue highlight. No, I don't want to remove the blue highlight. I like the blue highlight. It's is it the minus? Is that what it is? Like, is Kagi interpreting the slash in front of it as like posts that don't have that word in it? Overflow scrolling, touch callout, none. I don't know. I don't want to mess with touch. I think probably how it behaves is fine, especially with not more information and understanding what it does. All right, well, we didn't get to Josh's. That's probably a very exciting one for me because I really respect Josh and his work. That one will be exciting. We'll check out Jake's. I might do some of this off camera. I'm not sure if we want to do fluid type or not. We'll check out this one. It's starting to come together pretty good. We got to circle back to these to-dos and do SVGs, mostly like the inline SVG kind of handling. Like what if you put an SVG in a button? I want that to like look okay. There's also that issue of, have you ever dropped an SVG on a page that doesn't have a view box and it's enormously big? Do we want to deal with that? Is that a problem for this starter, or is that just like you just need to know that? I do want some header stylings because I hate looking at that H6. I want to take this HTML document and I want to make it more like a blog post that has some of these things in it a little bit more naturally, so that because it's less useful. Our forms are okay. I guess we want to do field set and legend. I might get lazy and boot that, but I don't know. We definitely need that fig caption stuff in there. Tables should go fast and be pretty easy. Word break we have now dealt with, so good for us. Do we have any more principles we want to look at? No. I'm feeling pretty good about it. It's starting to be about as long as I'd want it to get. Maybe we call it maybe we can try to get to exactly 200 lines. Chris Coyer's 200-line CSS starter. And we'll have a little bit more because we'll force Prettier not to do dumb crap like that. But I think we're honing in on it pretty good. Very tempted to poke at Josh's. Oh, God, there's already interesting stuff I want to steal, like interpolate slides. Hell yeah, we got to get that in there. Oh, okay, stop, though. I have to do some work today, even though it's Friday. But thanks, everybody, for hanging out. We got to finish. This thing will not drag on another full week, actually. But I think once we're done, it'll make a nice little fodder in my dream to be a CSS influencer. Take care, be good, eat your vegetables.